to get underway for the second quarter, and Adelaide in front at the moment, but Sydney have a chance to at least bridge that gap.
Yeah, Sydney trailing by 4, but really being punished with lack of possession in the circle. They had only 10 scoring opportunities in that first quarter as opposed to Adelaide's 15. And as far as the shooting stats go, Jo Morgan putting up 4 from 7. That's a 57% for her for the first quarter. Nikki Cusack, few attempts but making good on all occasions. 3 from 3 with 100%. Jenny Borlase shooting for Adelaide. Great performance, 9 from 11, 82%. So that's right up there and something to be proud of. And Michelle Kelso, a little like Nicole Cusack as goal attack, only 2 from 4, and that's on 50%. So impressive stuff, particularly from Jenny Borlase, the Adelaide goal shooter in the opening quarter.
To Sydney now, trying to get it inside to Jo Morgan. They both get a piece of the ball.
And toss-up call for a joint possession.
For Delwood, working hard in the semicircle, trying to get it inside to her shooters. She does this time into Jo Morgan. And she makes no mistake. So 11 plays 8. Sydney needed that. They now have to keep Adelaide out.
They'll be working really hard for a break now. They could get a turnover now and then capitalise on their centre. They'll be back in this ball game. Derby working really hard to shut Borlase out, concedes that pass and works over the shot.
Borlase gets it to Grant, who quickly gets it back inside to her shooter. And Jenny Borlase keeping up that good percentage. And Sydney through Carissa Delwood. This is Cusack. Gets it to Branley. Delwood again. The lob pass into Morgan.
Delwood has had the advantage. Morgan comes from the Manly Ringer Club before she's moved to the Sydney Electricity Hotshots. So Delwood has had the benefit of feeding to her at state titles for a couple of years, so she'll know her moves quite well.
10 minutes remaining in the second quarter. Sydney trailed by 3.
Borlase, neat move along the base, cuts behind Devery, just uses the post and gets it within good range. She's the one they need to stop.
Cusack, the lob pass into Morgan. Oh, comes off. Morgan couldn't quite make it count. Off, shooting off balance there.
Well, that's a shot, of course, that the girls practice quite regularly, off balance, off court, and would have been pretty sensational for the Townsville crowd had it gone through.
So Adelaide again quickly down the floor. Borlase.
Good jump from Devery, really got over the shot, contests the rebound. Good work from the Sydney Electricity skipper.
And can they reward it with a goal? Cusack.
Good vision from Cusack then. She really picked up a good vision of the whole court. Able to offload to Brunelli.
Morgan steps in for a little closer shot.
Of course, Morgan, just so that people aren't confused, is wearing a bodysuit that has Anderson on the back of it, but Tina Anderson unable to participate. And Morgan, although unavailable to Sydney for the Super League starting next week, is able to play in this Mobil Netball Classic.
But still 3 goals in favour of Adelaide. Michelle Filkey with the ball. This is Grant. Inside to Borlase again.
Strong hands in from Borlase, who's working the base really well and very confident on the take, very relaxed with the shot.
Sydney have to try and find an answer for Jenny Borlase. They have possession at the moment.
Of course, it doesn't all rest with Keely Devery simply stopping her. It rests with work on the feeders before it gets that far down court. So the pressure really needs to come from Kosofas, from Finnan up the front, and from Darwood. That's a good touch from Kosofas. Well supported by Brunelli.
Cusack,
and of course Morgan at home. No visitors, but Filkey comes in belatedly.
That would be an Adelaide possession. Well, interesting call.
Well, it's a contact call against Jo Morgan.
She does well.
Some thought it would go the other way.
Sydney ball. Branley finds Morgan on the baseline.
Morgan now draws the penalty. Use of the elbow called against Robin Gill, and it'll be a penalty pass or shot. Morgan makes sure now.
And it's 16 apiece, so Sydney has fought back well, but they have a chance to take the lead on this centre pass. Delwood gets it into Cusack. So can Sydney take the lead?
You see then Nicole Cusack employing a step to the side to clear space because Filkey had very good distance right over the shooting arm, but in that execution the umpire deemed she took more than 3 seconds. Ball must be offloaded within 3 seconds.
So Adelaide now through Abbott. Finds Borlase. Eventually, back to Abbott. Looks for her shooters.
Borlaug's having to work increasingly harder to get possession. And a credit to the Sydney defence who've really stepped up the workload.
Finnan now for Sydney. Still 16 apiece here at the Townsville Breakwater Entertainment Centre. Dalwood finds Morgan.
Morgan making it difficult. She was working really hard to have the hold and did have back space, and then she shifted off it and moved around at the last minute, making it very difficult for the feeder to place. You really need to have good, clear cues from your shooters.
So Sydney in front for the first time, approaching half-time. Borlaug finds Kelso.
So first shot of quarter, sinks it, 100%.
Why not?
Stop while you're ahead.
17 apiece. This is Cusack now. So the pressure really on. Who wants to go into half-time as the leaders? Morgan.
Well, Dalwood off balance in. I think she thought it was a safe option just to put it up high. Morgan coming into her own now. That was a great shot under pressure.
So 18 plays 17. This is Abbott. Filkey finds Borlaug all on her own, lonesome.
Pace is pretty frantic considering it's not yet half-time. We've just got a minute to go in this second quarter. Another 2 quarters to be played, and they'll really be going for it, particularly in the last. So they're putting a lot of effort into the early stages of the game.
Kelso, well, she ruins her 100% record for the second quarter.
Shattered to 50. It's a cruel world, this statistical world.
So Sydney now through Finnan. Quickly to Kossivas. This is Cusack.
The circle clear for Morgan. She sets up the hole. Dalwood finds her good position, close to the post.
And Sydney stretch their lead to 2 goals and also get centre pass.
Jo Morgan dominating in this second stanza for Sydney. She's put up 10 from 12. So not only are they finding her, but she's doing a great job when she has the ball.
And 20 seconds remaining until half-time. Cusack for Sydney. It goes down, so 20 plays 17. So Sydney has certainly come back in a big way in this second term.
And Garville at a standstill.
Kossivas nearly, but in netball, you're not allowed to do that.
Time is up, but just not enough left there for Garville.
So Sydney have come back in a big way. At half-time, they lead the defending title holders Adelaide by 3 goals. And welcome back to players coming from the half-time huddle. Getting ready for the third quarter. Sydney coming back in a big way in that second quarter. Went to the break leading by 3. They've made a few positional changes very quickly. Sydney changing their defenders around. Sharon Finnan going to goalkeeper and Keely Devery to goal defence. And Adelaide doing the same with their shooters. Jennifer Borlaug, Michelle Kelso changing positions. And Sydney with first use of the ball through Cusack and stretches the lead to 4.
And Cusack continuing on her winning way with 100%. Although in the second quarter it was all Jo Morgan. She put up 10 from 12 for Sydney Electricity, 83%, which is a great stat considering the volume of shots she's taking. Nikki Cusack, exactly the same stats as in the first quarter, 3 from 3, so she's sitting on 100% for the game. Adelaide dropping off the boil in shooting. Jenny Borlaug is dropping down to 5 from 9 at 56%. And Michelle Kelso, as we said during the quarter, 1 from 2 at 50%.
And the lob pass inside to Jo Morgan. So Sydney stretch their lead to 5. This is Dalwood. Cusack. So Adelaide have to look for something to get back. And that's the start.
Robin Gill had her eye on that pass from the time it left the hands and cut it off well.
This is Abbott inside to Borlaug, who's now a goal attack. Continues her good shooting percentage.
Jenny Borlaug is equally comfortable running front or back shooter, so it won't put any dent in her shooting accuracy.
So Adelaide trailing by 4. Need this from Michelle Kelso. Goes down. And it'll be a Sydney centre pass. Cusack looks for something. Heavy contact from Simone McInnes.
Contacting goalkeeper, shuttle pass.
Robin Gill just getting in under the shoulder of Cusack. Draws the penalty pass and shot. And still 100%.
Great shooting record.
Well, Nikki's renowned for having probably the most technically accurate shooting style in the game. If you watch it, it's a very high release and very often comes down with snow on it.
That'd be a welcome relief from Townsville.
I can't promise it, but if you watch very carefully.
So Adelaide now, through Grant. This is Fookie.
Just enjoying the skills of Simone McKinnison, drag the ball in, and as is typical of her, just balances with 10 toes on the transverse line, but doesn't fall over.
Borlase brings Adelaide within 3, but it'll be a Sydney centre pass. Delwood.
Hope your heart's good, because I have a feeling this is going to go pretty close down to the last second.
Time called by the umpire. Chance for the players to grab their breath.
I think that ball girl probably thinks she's died and gone to heaven collecting the pass and giving it back to Carissa Darwood for the throw-in. What a treat the kids here in Townsville to see Australia's best netballers on show. It's really a wonderful concept created by Townsville City Netball Association, of course supported by Mobil, to bring Australia's best netballers together pre-season.
There's full credit to all the sponsors and organisers of this event. It'd be nice to see it had a little bit more support from the crowds. This is Borlase. Finds Grant. Kelso now. Adelaide, desperate for a goal. They're down by 4.
Wonderful shot from Jenny Borlase. Did you see any snow then?
No, just about, actually. Something white dropped from the ceiling. Poor manager giving me heaps at the moment. So Sydney Electric leading by 3. Cusack. Lob pass again inside to Morgan. It comes off. And she makes no mistake. And they stretch their lead to 4. Kelso. Ooh. Danielle Grant knew that she certainly felt that. This is Borlase again.
You see, though, with the top players, when they do take a knock, they're pretty well getting up before they get down, because otherwise, if the umpire's not going to acknowledge it, you're just going to lose possession. So they're really tuned in not to stop unless there is a whistle blaring.
This is Brunley for Sydney. Cusack, the lob pass again.
That one dropping short.
Sydney making good use of that lob pass, but not on that occasion. Filkey drags that from the clouds at the moment. And Adelaide finding it difficult to get down the floor. Filkey, very patient.
I have this on authority.
Contact against Sheridan Abbott. She felt she'd draw the contact there, but in fact she was acknowledged as causing the contact. In other words, if you set someone up for a fall, contact will go against you. And a nice tussle there between the two centres, Carissa Darwood for Sydney Electricity and Danny Grant for Garville.
They just keep going, don't they? Non-stop, those centres, just from one end of the baseline to the other.
Yeah, it's not the sort of interval you like. It's sprint or sprint faster. There's no jog.
Danielle Grant for Adelaide. They're trailing by 4 at the moment, the defending champions. Abbott looks for Borlase, finds her. Borlase wants to get a little bit closer. So Kelso.
Good jump from Debris there to put Kelso's shot off. Borlase just questioning the throw-in. It goes to Sydney Electricity, though. They're looking to stretch it to 5. Debris on the drive.
Kept it in well, but it went straight in the waiting hands of an Adelaide player, and they get it down very quickly.
We don't often see Keels driving flat out through the mid-court. I'm sure she's enjoying the romp.
Well, Adelaide missed that. Jennifer Borlase doesn't usually miss from that close. But can Sydney make them pay? Cusack.
Nice stretch from Maxine Brunelli.
Still with Cusack. Back to Brunelli now.
Keep your holding, shuttle pass.
And Joe Morgan. Bread and butter stuff from there. And Sydney looking the goods. 5-goal advantage. Have a chance to make it 6. Oh, nice pass from Carissa Delwood. And Nicole Cusack says thank you very much. and counts another goal.
Those two know each other very well. They oppose each other in the New South Wales State League, but of course play together in the New South Wales team and of course the national team. So for Sydney Electricity, some combinations that stretch far beyond their club combinations, and I think several years in the statesides has given them that understanding.
So Abbott for Adelaide, what can they do? They need a goal and they need it desperately on this play. Borlase back outside.
I think they've actually lost a little bit from the positional switch. I think when they had Borlase at the back, she was sitting there as a target to find. I think we've upped the workload and we've got less access from her.
Seems like she's still playing back anyway, even
yes,
though she is in goal attack.
You can make a positional switch in terms of changing the bibs, but then play a role switch on court. So someone might wear shooter bibs, but they might play up front in the goal attack back. Very common.
A good deflection from Robin Gill, and Adelaide on the drive now. Abbott finds Borlase. She doesn't like it from that position. Good positional work from Kelso.
It was a stronger approach play from Garville, and Kelso finding the net.
So Adelaide centre pass through Grant. Quickly to Abbott, looking for a shooter. She finds one in Kelso.
Kelso then at fault because Borlase was the one nearer the ball. The back player has vision of what's happening, so Kelso really should have conceded that space to Borlase.
Cusack now, Sydney. Leading only by 3. Lob pass to Delwood. And another lob pass inside to Joe Morgan, which is difficult to defend, isn't she?
She is.
Very
Not
tall.
only is she tall, but she does have good skills, good mobility. But of course, playing in this match with a support staff that you'd envy. A considerable lineup of Australian players out there. Well, for both sides, really. 4 on court for Sydney Electricity, 3 national players for Garville.
Jennifer Borlase has a chance and does successfully bring it within 3. With just under 3 minutes remaining until three-quarter time. Sydney now through Keely Devery. Good work from Adelaide again, so they have a chance to bridge this gap. Abbott.
This would be a great one to score because it would give them the next centre as well. Close the gap to 1 potentially.
The 2 centres going hammer and tongs at the moment, but it'll be an Adelaide ball through Kelso.
There's an offside call giving a free pass, so she can't attempt the shot. They'll work it till they can find another shooter. Borlase opens the back space.
And she makes it count, so it's only 2 goals the difference with 2 minutes remaining. And as we said, Adelaide centre pass. This is Borlase to Abbott. Delwood couldn't quite get that. Grant gets it inside to Kelso. And it's 1 goal the difference. So here comes the defending champions.
Well, it's not the sort of game that's going goal for goal. It really does have a rush of fortunes. It's switched from Sydney dominating and getting a rush on. Now Garville making the big jump for the end of the third quarter.
And Delwood finding Joe Morgan.
Morgan with 7 straight in this third quarter. No misses on the board for Sydney and only 1 on the board for Adelaide, so they're really making all chances winners.
A great shooting exhibition from both shooters in each team. And there we go, Jennifer Borlase again, so it's still 1 goal the difference, but it's a Sydney centre pass. Cusack. Fine Quinelli. This is Delwood. And the lob pass again to Joe Morgan. And it certainly is the play that they want. It just every time they come down, that lob pass is there.
And you'll notice Nicole Cusack leaving the circle pretty well exclusively to Morgan. When she has that one-on-one situation in the space, they're able to find her. Still just that little bit too short to get up on the high ball.
So under a minute remaining in this third quarter, 31 plays 29. Sydney Electric.
Well, neither Garville shooter then offering a move, both calling for the back play. They need to get at least 1 on the drive so that there's a variance there for feeders to find. Sweet shot from Borlase.
And 1 goal the difference. Just under 20 seconds for Ken Sydney. Stretch the lead to 2 to go to the final change.
Great touch then from Robin Gill. Holds it up, but they can't stop it.
And Morgan.
Crucial shot from the youngster.
Well, the umpire calls time, so Sydney will have last possession. Oh, Adelaide, sorry, will have last possession. No, they won't. So it's three-quarter time. Adelaide, a bit of a resurgence, but still trailing Sydney by 2 goals. We'll be back with the final quarter. Well, it's all come down to this. The last 12 minutes of the Mobil Netball Classic final here at the Townsville Breakwater Entertainment Centre. And after Adelaide led by 4 at quarter time, Sydney are doing all the scoring at the moment. They're leading by 2, but it's an Adelaide centre pass.
And if we look at the shooting stats, quite incredible. In that third quarter, 3 shooters out of the 4 on court with 100%. It was Michelle Kelso that didn't reach it, but she was on 75, and that's very credible at 3 from 4. But the other 3, Joe Morgan for Sydney, 9 from 9, Nicole Cusack, 3 from 3, and Jenny Borlase for Adelaide, 10 from 10, all on 100%. And interesting enough, Nicole Cusack has been 100% all match with 9 from 9 in total.
Sensational shooting from the 4 shooters. And as we speak, Michelle Kelso continues the trend. And Adelaide trail by 1.
Adelaide now face the problem that is every chance they get to equalise, it comes back to a Sydney centre, so they really need to work on that turnover.
The Cusack for Sydney. Yes, continues her 100% record. And it'll be an Adelaide centre pass. But they need to make every possession count for Adelaide if they want to make it back-to-back titles in the Mobil Netball Classic. Borlase.
Lovely move then from Borlase, really fluent attacking end, and continues with super shooting.
This is Cusack. Finds Brunelli. Back to Cusack.
Cusack will drive because there's 2 on Morgan. So to free that situation, you need to pass and cut, pull one of the defenders, interest them in your move, and that frees up Morgan at the back.
Nicole also continues her 100% record as well. 34 plays 32 in the Classic final. Abbott finds Borlase. Back to Abbott. Not quite for Carissa Delwood. Just about, though. And Adelaide through Grant. The lob pass to Borlase. Jennifer Borlase will get a free shot or pass.
Goalkeeper on the arm, both his sides.
That won't count as a miss against her because of the penalty awarded. So she'll continue with enviable stats.
It really is sensational netball at the moment. It's only 1 goal the difference, so it is certainly going to go down to the wire. Morgan from the lob pass from Cusack. It'll be a Sydney pass.
Robin Gill trying to grab it and play on.
Keeper, pass the shot.
So Morgan. Can she continue her great record, which she does? And Adelaide now need to retaliate. Abbott quickly down the floor. This is Borlase. She finds Kelso. Kelso wants a better position and gets it.
Just about to say she doesn't look confident on the release of the shot, and she held it up that bit too long.
Well, here goes Sydney. Delwood finds Finnan. Keely Devry. The defence is extended, and Sydney having big troubles getting it up the floor. Cusack comes down to help out. Brunelli back to Cusack, and the lob pass, which comes off again. The shot not quite there, but it will be again a Sydney possession.
Play.
I think it's interesting that Garville haven't swung their defenders, because I feel Robin Gill is just a touch ground bound, and that she doesn't have the elevation and she doesn't have the height against Morgan, so she's trapped going into the body as she tries to get there, whereas Filkey is just explosive in terms of elevation, and it might be worth having her a stride off, moving around, getting up to that high ball, but they've been content to sit with their combination that way.
And obviously in netball they can't change now. They have to change at the end of each quarter.
They could only change now if there was an injury time called, and irrespective of who calls the injury or where it is, they would be able to switch their line in that break. So I'm not suggesting they would do that for that purpose, but the rules do allow that. I just think when you look at the score and you see that Morgan has been on strike, Cusack, despite 100%, has only been putting up 3 a quarter. It's Morgan you want to stop. And I think Filkey would be equal to that task.
And Borlase brings it within 2 again. So Adelaide need the possession, or need to force a few turnovers to bring this back. 36 plays 34. And as we speak, they turn it over themselves. So Sydney will have a chance to stretch their lead to 3.
On the whistle.
Keely Devry.
Instruction shooter and goal attack. Decide penalty.
Cusack quickly down the floor for Sydney. Finds Morgan. And as we speak, Jo Morgan continues a good record. And she is proving a nightmare for the Adelaide defence. The centre pass for Sydney. Delwood to Cusack. She finds Brunelli. Good work from Danielle Grant to force the turnover. And Adelaide will have possession. They need goals. Filkey finds Grant.
And you can see their preference for going with Borlase rather than Kelso. Grant held that up till she could find Borlase. That's not a steady shot. This one will be better.
Borlase getting her own rebound. Makes it count, but they still trail by 2, Adelaide. Borlase.
Nice break
Finds
from Kelso under the post.
And she doesn't let her down, so it is only 1 goal the difference. Sydney centre pass.
The other option Garville has is to free Michelle Filkey instead of working up on that high pass on the transfers, for her to get into the circle earlier and work 2 moving around Morgan, then pick up Cusack as she enters the circle. I don't know that they've really explored those options as much as they could have in this match.
I suppose it is a case of trial and error, isn't it, with the Mobil League coming up, Super League coming up next weekend. Try a few different combinations, see how they work. Well, Jennifer Borlase, doesn't matter where she is, goal attacker, goal shooter, just continues to pop them in from everywhere.
Yeah, she's been commanding all through this series, and again sitting on 5 from 6 for this final quarter under pressure, and when you're in chase, that's good shooting.
And Morgan doing likewise at the other end of the floor. But what you can do, I can do better, says Jo Morgan. They lead by 2, Sydney.
Well, as we said earlier, she'd be revelling playing within the Sydney Electricity lineup. She's looking forward to this season with her new club, and of course revelling in the opportunity to mix it with Australia's best. She's an Australian under-21 player, has been invited to train on with the national squad, so she'd be really hoping to push herself into that next level of representation.
It all goes well for Australian netball, doesn't it? I mean, with these youngsters coming up, I mean, they're only 20, 21. And
it looks
still pushing.
great. I mean, you can't be complacent. Yes, we've won 6 out of 8 world titles, but that's only come from good developmental work through the age groups, and I think we do tap them well. The pressure's always on the current national team, but the next in line are there.
So Sydney having a bit of trouble getting up the floor. Well done, Danielle Grant.
Well, that was workload and a half. Terrier
Doesn't even
material.
look like she's sweating. I'd be on the floor calling for air. And Carissa Delwood likewise as well. Well, afterwards, I might be a chance.
No, I don't like
Probably
the
not.
Attacking goal attack on push. Penalty.
So Sydney get the call and have a chance to extend
Now
their
you
lead.
see the switch in the circle. If you look back, Filkey's picked up responsibilities for Morgan. Hill's working the front moves on Cusack, but Filkey draws the contact. But that's the sort of play they'll probably be looking to as they run in the last 4 minutes of this final.
Well, Jo Morgan just continues to soldier on. 40 plays 37. Sydney centre pass.
Well, the problem now is that Morgan, of course, feels very confident. She's established it throughout the game, and she feels pretty good about what she's doing, and why not? So the move might be too late for Garville.
For Delwood, the lob pass inside to Morgan. Filkey couldn't quite get that one, but does enough to put Morgan off her shot. Brunelli.
Oh, nearly a 3-second call.
Oh, inside lob pass to Nicole Cusack.
Filkey
Michelle
threw
Filkey
everything
goes
at
everywhere.
that. If she didn't have to
Adelaide.
cut a fingernail short, I think she'd have got that one.
Adelaide wasting no time in the centre pass. They know that time is against them. They trail by 4.
Great
Filkey.
pressure from the Sydney Electricity defence, from Dalwood, from Kosofas, across that transverse line.
And here comes Sydney again. Brunelli, the lob pass inside to Morgan. And Adelaide get possession.
And, of course, the reason they were tentative then is you can't touch the ball if you've been grounded outside the court, so you've got to get your feet back on court or part of the body before you pick it up. So that's why they were dancing and doing the 2-step on the baseline.
This is Abbott. Finds Borlase. Adelaide trailing by 4 with 2.5 minutes remaining in the Mobil Netball Classic final.
Just look at that Sydney defence. It's just torrid.
Maureen, could you toss, please?
Toss-up call between Kosofas and Grant.
You'd have to say Sydney have got the advantage, but anything can happen in netball. Ball A's. Well, she pegs it back by 1. But Sydney will have centre pass.
Garville came from behind to beat Sydney Electricity in the final of the Mobil Super League last year, so they'll have memories of that. They'll want to push on nice and strong to the finish, and that's just the way to do it.
Jo Morgan, sensational shooting in the final.
Well, she's 7 from 9 in this last quarter, under pressure, but she's leading the Sydney team home with great shooting. It's the defence effort, though, again from Finnan, that's really doing the damage.
Well, they've really had it up against them, haven't they? They've had injuries, they've had a few players missing, but they've just showed the true class that they've got in their side just to come back and, well, they look odds-on favourites now to win the Mobil Classic final. But Adelaide not giving up. Kelso, yes. They trail by 3 still, though, and it's their centre pass. No, it's Sydney's. Cusack finds Brunelli. So Sydney just being patient now. Saying, catch us if you can.
If in doubt, Hoy it high.
She does again.
Yeah, that last centre could have broken the back for Garville. They really needed to get to the centre then to have any chance of quick catch-up in the last minute. And, of course, the centres alternate irrespective of what's going on in the game.
And Cusack, well, I think that's it. 37 seconds remaining, and Sydney lead by 4. Abbott finds Grant. Back to Grant. It's going to take something miraculous for Adelaide to come back from this. But Finnan again, she's been in everything. Delwood. Cusack.
Contact on the ball. That was beautiful to play until it broke down there with the contact. Lovely work from Sydney Electricity. Cusack being a little greedy, wanting closer space.
She gets it. And that's it. Sydney have won the Mobil Netball Classic here at the Townsville Breakwater Entertainment Centre. Sensational shooting from all 4 shooters. And Sydney walk away with a couple of $1,000 for their efforts, downing Adelaide Garville 44 goals to 39. Well, Sydney Electric got sweet revenge from last year's loss against Adelaide Garville. They came into the final unbeaten and they walked out exactly like that. 44 goals to 39 certainly was a great display, and Anne Sargent is now talking to the victorious captain, Keely Devery.
Keely, congratulations first up, but without your usual skipper Susie Kenny, sideline with an ankle injury, it was a tentative start.
I guess you could score 7 down, very tentative. It was a bit of a shocker, actually. I think we took a long time to settle, and initially we were thinking, well, Sue's out. I mean, she's obviously a vital linchpin in our team. I mean, such a wizard, but, you know, I think that probably brought a bit more out of the players. It took us a bit to settle, but once we did, we realised, well, you know, we can do it, you know, even if we don't have Sue.
Well, it was a huge defensive effort from your team while the attacking line was settling, and I guess the question is it a sign of things to come for the Mobil Super League when it kicks off next week?
I would hope so. I would love to go into, you know, undefeated in that as well. I mean, we did the same last year. We beat Garville in this competition, but then we lost in this final, and then we beat them in the rounds and lost them in the final. So I'm hoping it's actually going to be signifying what's going to happen in the Mobil Super League as well.
Well, hard work ahead, but congratulations again on a great result today.
Thanks a lot.
So there we have it, Sydney Electric 4 goals winner over Adelaide Garville, and they're hoping to repeat exactly what Adelaide did last year, winning the Mobil Netball Classic in Townsville and going on to win the Mobil Super League. It'll be interesting to see whether they can do that. On behalf of Anne Sargent and the entire telecast crew, it's a very good afternoon.